Right now, there's a report out saying the portion of the historic F.W. Woolworth's lunch counter from the sit-in movement would get removed from museums in Washington, D.C. Two wants to know, is this actually happening? Let's verify. But before we do, a little background. The lunch counter is an artifact from the 1960 sit-ins protests in Greensboro. 4 North Carolina A&T students sat at the Woolworth's lunch counter during the Civil Rights Movement. The International Civil Rights Center and Museum in Greensboro gifted parts of the lunch counter to 2 Smithsonian museums, the National Museum of American History and the National Museum of African American History. Now let's get back to the report we want to verify. The report says the Trump administration would dismantle exhibit items, starting with the Woolworth's lunch counter displays at both museums. To verify if this is happening, we got information from 2 sources. Our sources are John Swain, the CEO of the International Civil Rights Center and Museum in Greensboro, and the Smithsonian. Swain called the report egregious and added that it's filled with inaccurate information. Swain says if the counter displayed were to be removed or rotated out, the museums would likely notify the original owners. In this case, the original owner is the Greensboro Museum, which is built inside the Woolworths where the sit-in movement took place. Swain says they weren't notified. Swain says to his knowledge, none of the lunch counter displays have been taken from their museums, and there were never any plans to do so. 2 days after the initial report came out about removing the sit-in counters, the Smithsonian released a statement on its website. In the online post, the section reads, "A stool from the sit-ins remains on view at the National Museum of African American History and Culture as a centerpiece of an interactive exhibition. The larger section of the Greensboro counter also remains on display at the National Museum of American History. Suggestions that the Smithsonian had planned or intended to remove these items are false." That being said, we can verify the removal of portions of the sit-in counter on display at 2 D.C. museums is false.